guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today is a good day because I woke up and I fused me some Tatura Rimehide. A high elf champion who looks like anything but a high elf, anything but an elf in general. Looks more like a majestic lizard man or something like that. But either way, aesthetically, I love this dude, man. He looks really, really cool. I mean, look at him. Like I said, that kind of majestic, that royal blue motif going on here. He's got, he's cool looking, right? Again, high elf, does he look?
Dear God, what have you done to me?
Maybe he's the majestic monster that high elves ride. Kind of like, I don't know, the griffin from Neverending Story, which probably nobody knows what I'm talking about.
With luck.
Faster, Falcor, faster! We have to hurry!
Could have been worse.
Let's talk about him. I have a bad habit, first of all, of not going for really powerful fusions or fragment summons. I go for all the crappy ones. I got Picksteel on lockdown, don't worry about it. But when we talk about Herndig, when we talk about Underpiece Brogni, yeah, I skipped those. So I feel very, very good that I went for Tatura Rimehide because I think it's a he, right? He looks like a dude.
Here we go again.
He is a class act, man. Congratulations, by the way, if you're coming to this video because you just fused him or you're close to fusing him and you want to know what to expect. Expect some greatness, guys. How about a nice spoonful of greatness for all of you guys? Places on the A1, we get a guaranteed decreased accuracy, one-time hitter. On the A2, block debuffs and increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. Increased defense is great to have that on 3-turn cooldown, but block debuffs right now is so meta inside the game. It's good to have 3 of these champions because, you know, God knows you need 3 teams for Hydra Clan Boss because you can't reuse champions. But either way, having 1 is a great start, right? Otherworld Breach on the A3. It's an AoE attack. Good multipliers, by the way. 4.2 multiplier defense based on this A3. 3.8 multiplier on the A1. Solid damage out of this champion as well. Wow, he's got everything. Attacks all enemies, plays a perfect veil on all allies except this champion by 2 turns. Now, for those of you new players to the game, perfect veil is going to allow your whoever has that buff not to be targeted by enemies, but even on AoE attacks, which still will do damage to them, even though they can't, you know, individually target them, it's going to mitigate damage on AoE attacks by 15%, right? Regular veil is a 7.5% damage mitigation. So it's a great buff to have, especially because it will avoid, having perfect veil will avoid the true fear from the head of torment as well on Hydra Clan Boss, right? Also places a nice girthy shield on this champion as well because it's equal to the damage that he puts out, and as we said, solid multipliers on this beast. When attacked, reflects 30% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker, also has a 30% chance of placing a freeze. So freeze and decreased accuracy are your only 2 debuffs on this champion. If you don't really care about the decreased accuracy, which you should care, it's a great ability to have for 2 turns on an A1, you know, cutting the accuracy in half against whoever you're targeting, well, you only need accuracy is what I'm trying to say for the freeze and for the decreased accuracy on the A1. The rest is all buffs. So when we talk about actually masteries on this champion, oops, well, where am I going? We're talking about masteries on this champion, guys. You have a few choices, right? You can go in so many different directions because he can also put out damage, as we mentioned. So I went with kind of a hybrid build, meaning I can get a lot of damage out of this champion, but I'm also not all out PvP arena, right? So we went tier 6 choice is going to be War Master, as you guys can see, excuse me. And then we went with support tree as well. So War Master getting more damage off of that A1 against bosses, great. You can go Savage and Helm Smasher on this champion, ignore all that defense, and he can actually be a nuker for you guys as well, but I imagine the majority of you guys probably going to be using him in a more hybrid role like yours truly. Support tree, I just want to draw your attention to lasting gifts and how important this mastery in particular is on this champion. 30% chance to extend the duration of any buff cast by this champion. That includes block debuffs and perfect veil, 2 of the strongest buffs in the game. It almost feels like they should not be extended as well, but they are with this mastery. It makes it a go-to, a must-have for me at least, on this champion. I also picked up Master Hexer, extend the duration of not the freeze, but the decreased accuracy off of that A1. And because it is an A1, you know, you're landing actually a lot of those decreased accuracies. For artifacts, guys, I went Relentless. You guys already know this. You've been watching the channel for any amount of time. But man, for all the OP beast champions, whether they're support, whether they're just, you know, flat out healers, or whether they're nukers, I go Relentless, man. I have Dracomorph in Relentless. I have Godseeker and Neri in Relentless. I have Ninja in Relentless. I have a lot more champions than just that. But Ugo in Relentless, basically really, really powerful champions. If they're going more often, is generally a good thing. 18% chance to get an extra turn might not sound like much, but it's really one of the most powerful artifact sets in the game. Now listen, if you don't have Relentless, no worries. Just go Speed, go Perception, go Immortal, go Regen, go Guardian on this champion. The choices are really endless. Even Savage? Again, if you just want nukes from this champion, you have a lot of choices, right? There's really no bad way, in my opinion, to build this champion. So, just one final note on Relentless, though. The beauty of it is, you know, through that extra turn, we can reduce the cooldown of this ability and have that perfect veil up more often, avoiding more, you know, true fears in Hydra Clan Boss. And also, potentially with lasting gifts and the Relentless proc, having block debuffs up almost all the time, or at least way more often on all of our allies, right? So again, it gave you a bunch of choices there. I went defense, I believe, no, HP on the banner. Wanted to get a nice balance of HP and defense. Keep in mind the damage dealt by this champion is based on defense. We want to err a little bit on the defense side. We went crit damage on the amulet, and we went defense with blood shield on the ring. We went defense percentage on the chest. We went speed on the boots, and we went crit damage on the gauntlets. Now listen, if you can't get crit damage gauntlets on this champion, if you can't find enough crit rate on all the other substats, I specifically looked for all of my, you know, my best crit rate Relentless gear substats. Maybe not the best, but a decent amount, right? 19%, 13%, and 19% there. Not all of you are going to be able to get that, especially with Relentless gear. Nothing wrong with just going crit rate on the gauntlets. There's a lot of damage coming from this champion, but unless you're using him specifically as kind of a nuker on a go second team in the arena, to me, especially with War Master, you don't need to stress yourself out trying to get crit damage gauntlets on this champion. Anyway, in terms of where we're using this champion, how about where aren't we using this champion? Really, I already went through and did the reviews, but
I got the horses in the bag, horse stock is attached.
Hydra Clan Boss, a 5 out of 5. No doubt about it. Like 5, big 5 out of 5. Whoever didn't rank it a 5, shame on you. Campaign locations, arena offense, faction wars, arena defense, all the dungeons except for Fire Knight, 5. Fire Knight, I'd give it like a 3. It, he, him, him. I give him a 3 in Fire Knight. I mean, a single target hit on the, or one hit, excuse me, on the A1, so not going to help get the shield down. No turn meter control either, but again, can keep your team alive. So not a trash champion by any stretch. It's not going to help you out on those specialties that you need for Fire Knight. Everywhere else, including Doom Tower bosses, man, every Doom Tower boss you can use this champion on, really, guys. Especially Frost Spider, Nether Spider, Bommel, Dreadhorn, Dark Fae, the Griffin. I basically named everybody. Eternal Dragon. I guess Scarab King, maybe a little, not great, maybe Magma Dragon, meh. But really, if the affinity works, then use the champion, right? Let's start out in, because he's bringing so much in terms of buffs, he can help you anywhere, you know? Let's do a quick damage check before we jump into Hydra Clan Boss. I want to start out, I want to compare her to like a real defense-based nuker. So we'll compare her to Solus, who we'll see with her later on in the arena in this video. So I'm going to go slow so you guys can see the animations. We don't need to go super slow here on the setup. Decreased defense, weaken, increased defense. We have an increased defense aura as well. Here she goes, or he goes, excuse me, ready on the A3. So attacks all enemies, boom. Wow, so long that delay, that wind up on that A3. around 40, 50k damage. So not too bad considering this is a level 25 dungeon. They have a ton of defense, a ton of HP, no savage gear on her, and no Helm Smasher mastery. So you can expect that to be a little bit higher, but still pretty impressive. Now let's compare that to Soulless and see how the damage compares on the same setup. All right, guys, so here we go with Soulless. 272k was the total damage output there. So the same thing. I just want to give you guys a barometer. Soulless, the best, you know, at least up there in terms of a defense-based damage dealer. So let's go in with the, oh, he's a little slow. He's a little slow. No big deal. That doesn't change anything. All right, here we go. Boom. We're talking about 60 to 70k. So considering he is in Savage gear, that's not that bad when you compare the two champions. Let's go ahead and exit out and see how much total damage. 272 was Tatura Rimehide's, and this was 321. So again, considering the Savage, not too bad. All right, guys, let's start out on Hydra Clan Boss. So I have one key left. Let's go Hydra hard here. I don't know how this team's gonna do. I don't have a Hexer on this team either, so Head of Mischief's gonna be a challenge. We have Tomb Lord, we have Husk as our damage dealers, and Ray as our damage dealers. And then we have Ugo and Doom Priest, Tatura Rimehide as kind of our support on this team. I don't know, I'm hoping for at least a few million damage, but we'll see how the team does. We don't really want to start out with our best debuffs. You shouldn't start it out on auto. Look at Husk, by the way, guys. Boom. He deals a lot of damage, man. He deals a lot of damage. I guess it was worth starting out on auto. Just to get that damage from Husk, because they're just going to be cleansed immediately. So I'm going to come in here with the Perfect Veil, and I actually procced an extra turn. So I'm just going to go decrease accuracy here, or the A1. He was True Feared, but no big deal. We're going to put it on auto now that the first cleanse is done off of the Hydra Clan Boss heads, and we'll see what we can do here. You saw already, though, getting that extra turn. It's great because even though we got caught in a True Fear, we still reduce the cooldown of that A3. So Perfect Veil sooner rather than later, right? And here comes the A2. Block debuffs. We have our increased defense. The damage isn't so bad early on here, but again, it's going to come down to killing a head and taking our consumed or devoured champions out of a head. That's the challenge, right?
No, I don't want to do any of that.
I think you get the point in terms of everything that he's bringing to the table. Another extra turn there. So we have the shield off of the A3, right back to block debuffs. Just need the Perfect Veil. The only problem is that's why we have Doom Priest on the team. We don't have a Perfect Veil on Tatura Rimehide himself. So cleansing that fear off is going to be great. Cleansing the True Fear off, that is. So Doom Priest is going to get a turn first, I think. No, it doesn't matter. The True Fear did not proc, so we're still looking pretty good here. 15 turns in. 1.6 million damage is actually really, really good here. So fingers crossed, but I can't complain. So the first head of Decay, I believe, yeah, Head of Decay eats our, who they eat? Eat it? Really, Ash? Eat it? He ate Ray. So I think we shouldn't have a challenge here. Well, I shouldn't have a problem here. Let me just hope that we can DPS it down. So guys, I'm going to come back at you at the end here. So it wasn't anything to write home about here, guys. 4.61 million damage. But as I said, Husk is an absolute monster, man. 1.5 million. And Tatura put out more damage than Ray. Not too bad. Well, Ray was eaten for a decent portion of that battle, so don't hold it against her. But still, 740k is really solid. Doom Priest rounding things out at 336. Again, really far from my best team. It's my third best team, I guess. But, you know, all said and done, we could do a lot better as well. Either way, Tatura Rimehide clearly made his use case on the Hydra Clan Boss right there. All right, guys, so let's just go to Doom Tower at the tippity top here. I was going to show you the Celestial Griffin, but I'm thinking to myself, once you understand what this champion is bringing to the table, you don't really need to see him against every single boss. You guys get it, right? So let's take out Lady Kimmy here. Let's put Tatura in that spot. And again, it's a good support champion. We have Perfect Veil. We're not going to be targeted. He's going to help keep us alive, not just through the waves, but also against Dark Fae herself. So let me go ahead and come back at you guys when we get to the actual boss here, and we'll see how we do. All right, guys, here we are against the Dark Fae. So we start out with Lyssandra's ability. We're basically just trying to get to Biggin here. Let's go in there, get the buffs on our team, go in with Ninja's Freeze against our own champions, and then we go in, I guess let's go ahead and place, gotta be careful because Gotta be careful because Dark Fae does have an ability where she'll steal a bunch of buffs. This is our attack here coming in. Pretty hard hitting, honestly. Let's go in with the Molten Slag ability. Make sure that none of our turn meters get full on our kind of nemesises here. Nemesises? Just gonna cycle some A1s here against ourselves. And then I think we should be pretty good here. Let's just go in. Here's the block debuffs. Here's the increased defense, going forward charge. I probably should have kept that A3 available because, again, have to be careful. Only thing we have to be careful of, really, once we beat ourselves against Dark Fae, is her stealing all the buffs from our team and making it rather annoying of a boss battle. But so far, so good. Again, decent damage from this champion as well, as I've already shown you guys. I guess you guys get the point. Let me show you the end screen of this battle, and then we'll go into the arena before we end this video. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so got that final boss taken care of there. Tatura, again, around 500,000 overall damage. More importantly, the support that he brought to our team. Let's go ahead and take a quick trip over to the arena. There's really two ways you can use this champion, right? I guess three ways. You can use him as your main nuker, right, if you want to. You can on a go first team, but there's probably better options, better attack-based options in that regard, even HP and defense-based options. Or you can use him as your main nuker on a go second team with that A3, putting Perfect Veil on all allies, or you can use him as your setup to your defense-based nuker. So I have this team ready to go. Forgive it being super pay to win here with 3 void legendaries, but the idea here is to show you, how you use Tatura in a setup role to Solus in this case. Solus is a defense-based champion, deals a lot of damage with his defense. I don't have good gear on him right now, but we're going to be using the A2 instead of the A3, increased defense, block debuffs against this squad here. So let's see how we do. And this is going to be in a setup role to your defense-based nuker. And then we'll just do a quick damage check as using him as our nuker. Keep in mind, though, no Helm Smasher, no Savage gear. So they go first. That's what happens on a go first team. We want to go ahead and set up Solus with an increased defense buff, block debuffs as well. So Solus, he's ready to go here. Keep in mind, the other team is buffed with a Vogoth on the team as well, so we're not putting out some insane damage. But let's go ahead and put it on Tormund here, and let's just put it on auto from here on out. And let's see on this go second team if we're able to. It looks like we're going to be okay, I think. Still have to contend with Sify, though, as well. But it might be a long one, but we should get the job done here. You can see that's a lot of damage, man. Just taken out just like that. Ooh, that was good, man. I guess it won't be a long time. It wasn't the most OP team known to man, but this is, hopefully illustrated how you can use this champion on a setup role on a go second team. Now let's go ahead and, let's go against this squad here on a non-setup role. So let's take out Solus. Now we're going to be using him as the nuker. So we need to put somebody in to go first. Let's use Prince Kymar, I guess, to CC enemy team. This is a kind of a weird team. We really want a debuffer going, but let's just go ahead and see what happens here. We're cheating with Kymar, CCing the enemy team, and then going in with the A3. These are no debuffs on the enemy team, 20k or so damage. So, I think with Helm Smasher, with decreased defense, with even weakened on the enemy team, with Savage gear, you're probably looking at around 50 to 60k nukes on your average team. Maybe a little bit higher if you have God tier gear on this champion, but I think you can do better with a Magnar or with a variety of other even epic kind of go or defense-based or HP-based nukers. I like him a little bit more in a setup role, but either way, guys, you can let me know how you plan on using this champion. We're going to end this video there. Thank you for watching all the way till the end, and as always, take care, guys.